8:48 Seattle's Morning News, and that's time for G. Scott from the Gee and Ursula Show. So you're tuned into this campaign among Seattle students to get the city council to appropriate more money for mental health. Huh?
Absolutely. We don't talk about it enough. I saw this. This is in a KIRO News article, and basically the students right now are demanding more money, more mental health resources and funding for the schools. And no doubt about it. And this goes back to these are some of the same students that walked out just recently. They walked out from the class at the Ingram High School on the 2-year anniversary of that deadly shooting that happened inside of the school. And when something like that happened, well, first, let me stop. Have you ever been to school and somebody was shot and killed at your school?
No.
Okay. So I just want to make sure that neither have I.
Yeah.
That is something that doesn't just last for a week. Like, okay, come on back into class now. That might last with you forever, for a long time.
We've seen it in students who were at Columbine or Sandy Hook who are now of voting age, and they said it has transformed my entire trajectory, the fact that I was exposed to that type of violence.
Yeah. To be a little vulnerable and transparent, I want to just kind of talk about this whole mental health thing that I think that it's talked about in two ways. There's a fraction of us that really take this serious, that have been impacted by this, that have felt this. And then there's some of us that are like, oh, you guys are just soft, right? You just don't know how to get through adversity. I get it. I get it, because I myself have gone through some adversity. Maybe you listening, you've been through some adversity. And like the old wide receiver coach for the Seahawks, Kippy Brown, used to say, it don't catch up to you until it catches up to you. Mm-hmm. And I had my bout and where I just never thought it would hit me like that. I'm an adult, right? I think that we need to do a better job of catching it early with these kids. Usually, the kids in school, if you guys remember being in school, it's only the kids that get in trouble that really, we need to make sure, we need to watch him or her, and we need to bring him to the office, and we need to put them on a plan. But the people that are, air quotes, doing really well, nobody checks on them, right? So I have learned that the people in life that you think are doing the best are struggling the most.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but you see, the face of depression isn't a sad person in bed. That can be the truth, but you also show up to work. You also hang out with friends. You also laugh and make jokes, but the depression is still there. We are so far from understanding it and being sympathetic to it. Because you're right. Anytime you do talk about, hey, I'm having a tough day, it's like, oh, come on, you got this, toughen up. Yeah. Instead of just feeling your feelings, maybe having a cry, you move through it a lot faster. And we need to do better by these kids because they are going to be the future. If we're struggling as adults, the kids coming up after us, boy, we got to set them up for success.
In this KIRO article, there was a message from the mayor, and it was just basically talking about how much that they would be investing. And they talked about the holistic and research-driven approach. And they basically said, this is from the mayor's office, this $19.25 million is in addition to $12.5 million of previously existing general fund investments made in the youth. So I guess
do we know where that's going?
Their goal is to spend it wisely and all those things. So,
what, counselors? What do you think we need? Do we need more adults who can talk to kids? Do we need classes on mental health?
Both of those.
Yeah.
I think that we need classes, like actual classes, discussing and talking about and warning signs and all those things on mental health. And we also need more staff when it comes to that. I know when I was in school, and it was a long time ago. You know how many counselors were in school? One counselor. Yeah. And if you were caught going to see that counselor, people were like, "Man, what's wrong with you?"
Exactly. The stigma.
You got a problem, And I think for me, speaking for myself, I think that's what took me so long to go get therapy, because I was scared to surrender, as if, yeah, I need help. Because I would feel like, what is this person in this office? How do they know my life better than me? What can they tell me to improve on my life? And I was absolutely wrong about that, right? And I think that the last thing I'll end with this. A lot of times when we tell our friends and families and loved ones things, they try to talk to you, tell you what to do and fix it and all those things. So you think that when you go to therapy, that the therapist is going to be like, okay, I'm going to tell you all these things and tell you what to do. I just realized, hey, yo, doc, you just be listening, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
So important.
And I find myself talking about things that, yo, this happened when I was 7 years old. You know what I mean? I don't want to get too deep on this, but I will tell you, we don't take it serious enough. We need to do more, and I'm glad that these young kids from Nathan Hale and all over city of Seattle are making it a point to address mental health.
Well, and it's important that the kids themselves are saying this, right? Because they don't want to bottle it up. They're making it's a cry for help.